really puts the defense in a bind. Whether you want to run a deep climb route where he can run away from man coverage and still clear the safety, or if you want to send him on a go with a dagger concept or whatever it may be, right? But throwing speed to three really upsets it. Really upsets match coverage is what it does. And there's a lot of teams that play a lot of match coverage. So great point, Coach. That'd be nice to see Christian out there. What I want to see Christian do is just take the top off the defense all day long. I don't want to see him working underneath much. If you want to get him 10 reps, when you call dagger, make sure he's in the two taking the top off, right? If you want to go with another concept, a Haas concept or whatever, make sure he's in the proper spot to take the top off the defense, right? And let him get his wind back. Let him, and who knows, man, he may burn somebody off the line. It's a good test of his speed as well. Chuck that thing up, chuck and duck, see if you hit a home run, That's kind of how I see this experiment with Watson coming back from injury. So it's going to be a lot of fun, man. I can't wait. Let's jump into the defensive side of the ball real quick, guys. I can't believe we're already 32 minutes in. This is wild. And we've minimized the coughing, I believe. And that's, now that I'm thinking about it, it'll happen. You watch. But so there it is. Aaron Rodgers. All right. Listen, the key is going to be to stop Aaron Rodgers in this game. Their running game has been pretty bad, which is wild because Warren's grading out pretty well. Like if I were to look, let me just take a quick glance. I don't want to misspeak here. Hopefully I got this correct earlier. In terms of yards per rush attempt, the Steelers are actually 23rd in the league at only 3.9 yards per attempt. It makes you wonder, well, how the hell is Warren grading out so high, right? There's the answer. Look at the receiving grade. It's a 88.4 receiving grade. So what's that tell you? Aaron is checking down. He's got the second highest receiving grade of any running back in the league right now, according to PFF. Now, I don't know how many attempts he's gotten, but his run grade ain't horrible to 73.2. But what it tells you is their offensive line probably not run blocking that well, right? Kind of like the Josh Jacobs thing that we had earlier in the year. So now their pass offense is much, much better, right? I think I looked it up earlier. What was their yards per pass attempt? It kind of surprised me, to be honest with you. I knew Aaron was having a much better year than PFF was giving him credit for, but I didn't know it was this good. So they're sitting 11th in yards per pass attempt right now at 7.4. So that's pretty solid. Green Bay's up there in number 4 spot at 8.2. So just anybody who still thinks Jordan Love ain't a good quarterback. But anyway, so Aaron Rodgers, 64.3, Warren, 79.9 coming out of the backfield, okay? Let's focus on their offensive line. From left to right, you got Broderick Jones, who almost killed Aaron Rodgers last week when he tackled him in celebration, 51.3. And then you've got, let's see if we can pronounce this name, Isaac Seumalo. Samalo? We'll go with Samalo. All right, probably wrong. 71.1. So at left guard, pretty stout performance so far this year. There's Zach Frazier, their center. You see last year, guys, 77.9. This year he's dipped to a 64.9. He's a little banged up right now. 64.9 is still the 13th highest graded center in the game right now. So still a pretty solid performance there from Zach Frazier. I think he is a strength on that offensive line. Then you got McCormick at right guard, Mason McCormick. I remember him when he came out in the draft. We did a little breakdown on him because he was a pretty solid prospect. Last year, 57. This year, he's jumped to a 67. So pretty good. Not bad at all, right? And then you got, I think it's Fontana is how I always said it. It might be Fatanu. I think it's Fatanu. That's what it officially was, Fatanu. Another young guy, right? He's only been in the league this is his second year. 64.4 last year, 57.9 this year. And the reason I want to point that out is because if you notice, you look at this offensive line, the weak spots are the tackles, right? So Aaron Rodgers, think about this. They're 11th in yards per pass attempt. Their running game, they're in the bottom third of the league in terms of yards per carry, which I think is a more important statistic than rushing yards per game. If you're going to stop Aaron Rodgers, let's make sure we got 7 in coverage. We know firsthand that the defense he hates to play against the most is 2-man under. Now, listen, you can't sit in 2-man under all day long. I'm not saying that. But you'll probably see a match-heavy offense or a match-heavy defense, which has man principles to it, and you'll probably show a too-high shell a good chunk of the day. That way, Aaron can't kind of pick you apart. Aaron's superpower is reading and recognizing the blitz and knowing exactly where to go with the football. And his secondary superpower, of course, is that quick release, lightning release, deadly accurate underneath. I think he's at like 68% completion percentage this year, which is really 3% higher than his career average. So with all that being said, the fact that their tackles are struggling, the offensive tackles are struggling, The running game has been struggling, although Warren's still grading out good in the receiving game. I would say four-man rush, 7 in coverage, give a good little healthy look at two-man under or match coverage, which essentially can accomplish the same thing if you're doing a two-high shell, like a cover 4 match, something like that. And let's try to get pressure with 4. Here's the beautiful thing. You don't have to cage rush Aaron Rodgers, okay? What do I mean by that? With a cage rush, you're kind of harnessing your pass rush and you're trying to force the pocket in around the quarterback, but keep him in the pocket so he doesn't scramble. Don't let him scramble, right? Aaron's not looking to scramble. Now, look, he's looking to step up and out of the pocket to create a secondary throwing window. So you don't have to cage rush, right? And you don't have to touch spy. Another touch spy, you got your one tech, puts hands on a double team, and he's spying the QB, make sure he doesn't scramble up the middle. You don't have to worry about that with Aaron. So check that off the list. What I think we should do, four-man rush, be aggressive with your pass rush. That doesn't mean blitz. That means be aggressive with the four-man rush. Pin your ears back. Rashawn Gary, Micah Parsons, go get the damn quarterback, right? Devontae White, if he's going to be out there, right? Go get the quarterback. Don't worry about him scrambling. Listen, I can live with myself. If we force Aaron Rodgers out of the pocket and he somehow, some ways runs for a first down, I can live with that. What I can't live with is us kind of playing patty cake with a little cage rush and a little concerned about him scrambling and him just picking us apart all night. Go hit him early and often. You guys know I love 12. I love Aaron Rodgers. Not on Sunday night. Put his ass in the dirt all night long and do it with a four-man rush so you can keep 7 in coverage. I don't think Aaron is going to be quick to throw a pass into coverage, but he's going to hold that ball and he will take a sack or just throw it out of bounds, get it, throw it away, get rid of it, right? I think that's the best way to attack this because, and here's the other thing, we may come with that approach, whether it's a quarters match coverage look like a palms or something like that, or a two-man under look, and they come out and run the ball and they might run it effectively. If that happens, okay, cool. You adjust. Remember, we talk about the 3 phases of the game. First quarter, you're gathering information. Did our game plan line up with what they do well? Are we making them play left-handed? Do we have the upper hand? Do we keep with the game plan, right? You're gathering information. Or did they do something different and we have to change our game plan? What I mean by that is a perfect example of that very thing. In the first quarter, if you go out there and you're playing two-man under and you're playing shell match, right? And they run the rock and they start to establish a run on you, that's the information you've gathered. All right. Second and third quarter is all about the adjustment. The second quarter mainly is make that adjustment, start stopping the run, and then you'll have to adjust to Aaron as he starts to change things up himself, right? And, of course, you want to control the middle late. And then by the time you get to the fourth quarter, you may be up by 10 points. They may be up by 10 points. Game plan goes out the window. Now you got to play the fourth quarter as if it's a standalone game. So I say that because just because they haven't run the ball effectively this year doesn't mean they won't tomorrow. I also want to mention this too. It's almost slipped my mind. They have not been great at running the ball, right? We just talked about that. However, recently, rushing yards per rush attempt, Pittsburgh 3.9, right? 23rd best in the league. The last 3 games, however, 4.9, a full yard better. So if they were doing that during the entirety of the season, they would be tied for 3rd best running. So the last 3 games, they've been much better. The last game they played, 7.4 yards per rush attempt. So when I say they got a bad running game, that's overall throughout the entire season. Here lately, they've been amping it up a little bit. So you got to, if you go out there and play that game plan I just talked about with shell coverage or two-man under and they start running a rock, be quick to adjust. What I would like to see rather than a shell look is get a safety down in the box for the run fit, whether it's McKinney or Williams. I would much rather it be Evan Williams personally, but get him into the run fit in the box and then post snap, if it is a pass, get him back there, get him back in coverage, right? And still accomplish that two-man under or that shell look. So, but play with that extra guy in the box might be the way to combat that. It's not that you're going to trick Aaron Rodgers. That's not going to happen, gang. We're not going to catch him off guard with some kind of sugar. He's seen it all. He's written books on it, right? He knows exactly what he's looking for. But it's just all about getting that extra hat in the box against a run while still playing two-man under or a shell match coverage. So that's kind of how I see that. And again, attack the edges because that's their weak spot. When you look at their wide receivers, it's all about this guy right here, DK Metcalf. He's been great, guys. I think he's third in the league right now, if I remember correctly, at yards per reception. It was something like 18 and a half yards per catch. So he is just, he's been a big play machine. He leads the Steelers with over 400 yards receiving already. You see his PFF grade is 78.6. So when you see the tape, DK Metcalf looks good. When you look at the NFL Pro data and the stats like yards per reception, receiving yards, things like that, DK, good, checks the box. You go to PFF, 78.6, 14th highest graded receiver, checks the box. This is a Tuesday player. Everything in their passing game, we just told you they're probably going to be looking to pass the ball and do it short, efficient, that type of thing, right? Everything should be geared around taking away DK Metcalf and this other target right here, which is he's not even on the list right now, which is absolutely wild. We'll probably have to go to 12 personnel. Where's he at? Where's Fryermuth at? That's really strange. Why would they not have Fryermuth there? Is Fryermuth healthy, guys? Because I've seen him on NFL Pro. He's pretty solid with stats this year. Somebody let me know in the chat. Is Fryermuth their tight end? Is he healthy? Or do I got my names? No, he's right there. Yeah, so there he is. So he started 2 games. He's played in 6. So he's played in all 6 games. So I think he's healthy. It's weird that they wouldn't mention him. I would love to know what his PFF grade is. So anyway, I was going to say watch for Fryermuth because that's another guy that Aaron likes to go to. So obviously they've got this is Jonnu Smith. They traded for Miami last year. He had a great year. This year he's really struggling. And then you've got Darnell Washington, who's just a massive human being, 6'6", 264. He's grading out a 56.6 as well. He's a 3rd round pick there. So yeah. So I would look for Fryermuth. Again, you've got to contain and control DK Metcalf, take away Fryermuth as well. I think Fryermuth would be the top tight end target there personally. Actually, let me just take a look at that. Who got more targets? Fryermuth was 17. Jonnu Smith with 26. So Jonnu Smith is actually getting more targets than Fryermuth. That is wild to think about, man. I thought he was like the heart and soul of that offense in terms of the tight end room. So nonetheless, DK Metcalf's the guy to look out for. So how does that match up against our DB room? We've got obviously Nate Hobbs is struggling, 59.3. You got Keyshawn Nixon at a 68.7, still holding strong there, but he's starting to go down a little bit now. Javon Bullard in the slot starting to get better. 58.8 is what he's sitting at now. At the safety position, Xavier McKinney, 67.7. We know he's much better than that 67.7. Evan Williams having a great year. He's the 7th highest graded safety now at a 76.0. And then at the stack backer position, of course, we got Edgerrin Cooper at a 71. Quay Walker is now up to a 61.6, his highest graded year to date so far. So when you look at the way they're going to attack the defense, DK Metcalf, they're going to probably target Jonnu Smith a lot, but Fryermuth, I think, is a much more effective player. They do like to play 13 personnel, like Emilio was talking about, so keep that in mind as well. But yeah, I really like our chances of stopping their passing game, or at least containing it. Right? That's kind of how I see that. Now, we were talking about going up against their tackles. Micah Parsons, guys, it don't matter which side he lines up on, he should be able to eat. He's grading at a 93.4. He has been unbelievable this year. I mean, you guys know, you're Packer fans. You've watched it the entire time. Rashawn Gary, 70.3. He should be able to beat whoever's in front of him. The pleasant surprise here is Kobe Wooden at that 73.8. Now, we talked about the NFL Pro data, not near as good, right? As his pressure percentage was something, his quarterback pressure percentage was something like 5 or 6%, not that good. Hopefully, we get Devontae Wyatt back. That's going to be the goal there. So, yeah, that's pretty much your PFF preview. So I think we covered everything pretty extensively. I just wanted to kind of give you guys an idea of what are their strengths, what are their weaknesses. Go check out the game plan over on patreon.com/PackerFan Total Access. And we're going to continue to add to that throughout tomorrow. I should be home most of the day in the office, so I'll be able to get on that. And we'll continue to add information in. I don't know if you guys can hear that scratching, but my German Shepherd, Lincoln, is at the door, and he's trying his damnedest to get in this room right now. He's losing his mind. Let's see if y'all hear him right. Wait a minute. Podcasters are going, I ain't listening to this crap, Clayton. Yeah, you are. Hang around for a minute. He just ran down the steps. We're good now. Sound like I heard a cattle going down. He weighs $125 now. So he looks like a small horse is what he looks like. But so anyway, there we go. There's your PFF preview. All right. I like our chances, guys. We're 3-point favorites on the road, which means we're probably closer to 4.5 to 6-point favorites, right? Um, it doesn't mean it's a slam dunk win, but I think we got a good shot to win this ball game if we protect the football. That's going to be the big thing for me. Is how are you going to protect the football, man? Because Aaron's going to protect the ball, right? We know that's going to happen. I mean, that's what he's been great at. As a matter of fact, let me just put this on the screen and just give you guys a quick glance at some of the statistics. We talked PFF. We'll wrap up with this. I don't want to go too long and bore y'all with my rambling, but Aaron Rodgers, here we go. So he's got 1,270 yards passing on the year, 14 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, guys. That's solid. That is solid. He's tracking the 30 touchdowns, 10 interception mark pretty much, right? Passer rating of 105.0, completion percentage 68.6%. Completion over expected is a positive 1.5%. EPA is at a plus 15.8. EPA per dropback, a plus 0.09 there. He's been sacked 9 times on the year, though. So he can definitely get to him. Again, there's Warren, 4.4 yards per carry at 311 yards carry on the season. Or, I'm sorry, 311 yards rushing on the season. Kenneth Gainwell, averaging 4.3 as well. Not bad there at all. 190 yards rushing on the year. So pretty solid there. In terms of the yards per carry, like I said, though, for whatever reason, overall, they are ranked fairly low in terms of team rushing yards. And then you see DK Metcalf, 406, Pat Fryermuth, sitting in there at a 187 yards receiving. Jalen Warren, 184. Calvin Austin, the other receiver, is going to line up opposite DK Metcalf on this heavy 12 and 13 personnel. Heavy 12 personnel, obviously, won't be on the field if DK's out there for a 13 look. But Calvin Austin, 139 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns there as well. But you see DK Metcalf averaging 18.5 yards per reception. So it's going to be a fun game, man. It's going to be a really fun game. Let's see if anybody else has stepped up on defense since it seemed like our boy, of course, it just messed up on us, man. I was just trying to get the individual stats. See if we can do it this way. I want to see who really pops on defense other than TJ Watt from a statistical standpoint here real quick. All right. Let's go defensively. Let's start with sacks here. So TJ is actually second on the team. Look at Wisconsin's finest, Nick Herbig, right? Didn't he play for Wisconsin? 4.5 sacks on the season so far. So he's playing linebacker. TJ Watt, 4 sacks. Keanu Benton, 2.5. Jalen Ramsey's actually got 2 sacks. So keep in mind, when you see 2 sacks at the corner position, we know he plays a slot when we're in 11. Watch for them to fire that nickel. Probably get a couple cat blitzes, right? So we will see how that goes there. Cam Hayward, 1.5 sacks. What's his stops up to now? 17. Pretty decent stop count right there, right? So, yeah. So Nick Herbig's another one we probably want to look out for, guys. That's probably another one we want to look out for. I didn't even see him either on the PFF preview. He does not pop up. It looks like Keanu Benton is their nose tackle, but he's not even popping up. Herbig isn't. So he must be a kind of a backup player that's performing pretty well. So there you go. There's your PFF preview. Look at Murph in the house. What up, Murph? Good to see you, buddy. See what he says. PTA Clay standing up. Got one of those floating desks, huh? Yeah, we got an addition here, man. Listen, I'm getting old, Murph. The hips started hurting. And done a little research, a little reading, and it said, yeah, you're sitting too much, knuckleheads. So I got one of these desks that raise up. Pretty cool. This one actually is a stacker. It just sits on top of the desk and raises up. So it's been nice, man. The hips feeling a little bit better. So sucks getting old, man. Sucks getting old. So that's going to do it, guys. I'm going to get out of here, man. The voice is starting to go on me pretty hard. Really, really, really. Is he really? Chris says Keanu is another Wisconsin alum. Good stuff, man. So Pittsburgh found him a pipeline up there with them Badgers, didn't it? Which, by the way, man, rough year for the Badgers. I think they'll bounce back. Has their coach been fired yet? What's his name? Luke Fickell. I'm afraid to mention that. I know Barry Alvarez might jump on the live stream, cuss me out for mentioning a coach might get fired. But is it Luke Fickell? Is that who their coach is? You guys help me in the chat real quick. We'll talk a little Wisconsin for just a second because I want to get your not necessarily live here on the air, but I want to know what all the Wisconsin fans think about. Do you want a new head coach, right? Because I know they're struggling so bad and it sucks. He says not yet, but will be, yes, it's Fickle. All right, so Luke Fickle. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it, buddy. Yeah, it's an interesting situation, man, because for as long as I can remember, Wisconsin's always had a great football program, right? Maybe great's a little strong. They've always been a good football program, right? And the Barry Alvarez days, obviously, um, they were dominant, right? Rose Bowl appearances and all that stuff. But I don't know, man. It just kind of feels like you've got to get the right coach in there. And if Fickle ain't him, I know there's some people who say, "Oh, well, you got to give him time and this and that." I'm going, man. I don't know it. You got Indiana. I mean, what did Indiana do? And I know Wisconsin fans hate hearing about Indiana, but what did Indiana do to fix their program? They went and got a great head coach. And I know there's people that don't like him. I can't remember his name. Now you guys help me in the chat. He's the fiery old gentleman. I didn't realize I was listening to a pod earlier today, a college football pod. And I didn't realize that he actually coached at Alabama and then went down to James. I think it was James Madison, right, and turned that program around and then he takes the job at Indiana. But the moral of the story is Indiana got the right coach, man. Right? Got to get the right coach in there. You got to and stop delaying it. Get it done. Who do y'all want to see? Y'all want to see some Nick Saban up there in Wisconsin? I'm just joking. Nick Saban ain't coming back out of retirement. But yeah, let's see here. Chris says he went away from their heart, big old line and run game, plus almost lowest NIL pot in the Big Ten. That hurts, right, man? That hurts. Yeah, Kurt Signetti. Thank you, Bates. Appreciate it, buddy. Yeah, that's it. Kurt Signetti. Yeah. So what you're saying there, Chris, can be tough to contend, man, if you get the lowest NIL pot in the Big Ten, man, because those schools, boy, they're churning out the money. 2-0 for this, says Joe Barry to Wisconsin. What do y'all think about that? Put it in the chat. Let me know. Do you want Joe Barry to be your next Wisconsin Badger head coach? I don't think many people will sign on to that. So, all right, that's it. I'm out of here, guys. I'm gonna go take some syrup and call it a night. Appreciate everybody. Listen, thank y'all so much for being patient with me this week because I know it's been hard to listen to me hack and cough live on the stream, and everything's getting better, obviously. So just thank y'all so much for being patient there. Thank you for all the kindness. The show is absolutely blown up. We picked up over 100 subs in the last 3 days. So what's crazy is the analytics are still showing we've got a ton of people that are returning viewers, right? Like we're averaging almost 300,000 views per month, essentially, as a channel. We got a bunch of people watching that are not subbed, right? So if you guys are hearing my voice and you're not subbed to the channel, just take a quick second, hit that sub. And if you like this type of content, make sure you click the bell icon so you're notified when we go live here in the future. So see here, 2-0 for this, says, thanks for being consistent, Clay, with not feeling the greatest. You're the truth. Feel better. I appreciate it. But again, man, there's a couple of times I almost canceled the show this week because I didn't want it to be low quality. You know what I mean? It's show already sucks. Can't get much worse, but when you're hacking on the mic, it obviously does get worse. So thank you, Larry. Appreciate that, buddy. Everybody, Cannonball John, you guys are awesome, man. So hit that like on the way out. We'll be back tomorrow. I'm gonna get another night's rest, and I think I'm gonna be 110% tomorrow. So we'll be back 6 p.m. Central for PTA Live tomorrow. We'll go over the game plan, and we'll probably have the guys in here, and we'll talk in detail about how the Packers should attack the Steelers at a little bit different level. And then, of course, come Sunday, man, it's going to be awesome. We'll probably I might do an early show and just kind of talk about some of the action around the league. And then, of course, we'll go live about an hour and a half before kickoff, and we'll give you all of the information. We'll go an hour and a half before kickoff for the pregame show, the PTA pregame show. I got to keep reminding myself there's new viewers here. So we do a pregame show every Packers game day. And what we'll be able to do where it's Sunday Night Football is we can go through and give you guys all of the final scores from around the league, talked about the updated standings, where does the NFC North sit now as we go into our matchup there in Pittsburgh. Obviously, the Packers going in to play the Pittsburgh Steelers. Right now they're saying clear skies and 56 degrees for Sunday Night Football. That's absolutely perfect weather. So hit that like, hit subscribe on the way out, guys. Appreciate y'all so much. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world and go back.
Here we go.
We're out.
Bye, guys.